Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I would like to talk a little bit about the Specialized SL8 and why I think the Venge that I still have, you see this one, that's my little baby, I think it's still the fastest bike that you can get from Specialized. While all the claims that Specialized makes that the new SL8 is the fastest bike they've ever made is true, I still think the Venge is faster. Why? I'll explain to you in a minute. But first of all, the new SL8, I think, is a great bike. So if you have the budget or no budget restrictions, because I think if you spend 13,000 euros for a bike, you shouldn't have a budget. You should just have money and be able to spend it for whatever you want. I think you get an amazing bike. I think it actually looks better in reality than on some of the photos with this little bulge in the front, this so-called speed sniffer, which is a great name. No, I think it's a fantastic bike. It is light, it is aero. Of course, it's lighter, stiffer, more aero as every new bike that is released, according to the marketing speech and claims. But no, I really think it is a nice bike, and I really like this red color scheme that they have on the web page. But yeah, what do we know? We know that it is according to them 16 seconds faster than the old SL7. We know it is a super light frame. We'll go a little bit more into detail in a bit, and we know it is has a higher stiffness to weight ratio, but also it got lighter, so the total stiffness maybe has not improved that much, but it is a higher stiffness to weight ratio. So what I think is the most important graph to look at is this one. Here you see the comparison of the different most recent bikes. So the SL7 obviously has replaced the Tarmac, which was a very light bike, with the Venge, which has been combined to the SL7. You can see on the graph here that the SL7 was a compromise of both. It was not as light as the SL6, and it was not as fast and aerodynamic as the Venge. It was a mixture of both. That's why they call it the one bike to rule them all. The new SL8 is basically is a little bit more aerodynamic than the Venge, and is I think around 120 grams lighter than the SL7, which is all in the frame, mostly in the frame. But if we look at the where do I need to go here to the comparison where you see the Venge SL7 and SL8. So the total weight difference actually is half a kilo to the Venge. So the SL8 with other components being equal weighs 6.8 kilograms, and the Venge, similar to the one that I have, weighs 7.3. So it's half a kilo lighter, which sounds significant. Is it significant? Wait till you see my calculations, or not my calculations, but the calculations that I did. So if we say that the Tarmac SL8 is more aero than the Venge, you wonder why. If you look at the new SL8, there's one big difference to the SL7. That is the new handlebar, the new Roval Rapide one-piece cockpit. It is thinner than the old cockpit, and it's a one-piece, so you don't have the intersection with the bolts where the stem clamps onto the handlebar. If you look at the rest of the frame and you compare it to the Venge, I don't believe it's more aero. I think it's less aero. Some key areas where I think that the new SL8 actually is less aero than the Venge. One is the seat post. The seat post. Sorry, saddle post. It is from shape-wise I don't think it's more aero than the old Venge one, because I think the air just sticks longer to that one, just because of the depth of it compared to the new SL8. And also you see this gap here between the frame and the tire. So yes, I do run quite beefy tires, but there is basically no gap. No gap, always more aero than the gap. So I think in this area also the Venge was more aerodynamic than the new SL8. Also the seat stays, from the shape, they are from their profile, they are more aerodynamic in the Venge than they are for the new SL8, and I think that is one part where they actually saved some weight. For the rest of the bike, I think the front of the bike, I would say, might be almost equal from the depth, and also the fork. It might be a little bit more aerodynamically shaped with a speed sniffer for the SL8, but I think other than that, it's relatively comparable. So big difference, handlebar. If we look at the handlebar description, they claim that the new Roval Rapide cockpit is aerodynamically engineered to save 4 watts versus the traditional aero road bar. That might sound little or might sound a lot. So what does 4 watts actually mean? So let's look a little bit into some calculations. I'll drop the link to that chart also in the below the video, so you can also play around. It's from endurancedata.com. So if we say that, okay, a rider who's doing a time trial goes around 45 km/h on a road bike, that's pretty quick. So it's maybe not the best in the world. They might go faster, or they will go faster, but I think going 45 km/h on a road bike is very decent. With a weight of 75 kg for a rider and bike, I think we need to put that up to 75 plus 7, so around 82 kilos for bike plus rider. So we're talking about the CDA of 25.6. If we now say that we are saving 4 watts, you would look into, okay, we have here our CDA of 25.0.256, and we're going 350, or we're doing 350 watts to go 45 km/h. So if we go only 346 watts, push only 346 watts, we're going 44.96. So the difference, 44.96, 350, 45.15. So I think now we need the calculator. So we have 45.15 minus 44.996. Difference is 0.19 km/h. Because of the 4 watts, you can basically go 0.19 km/h faster. So 0.19 km/h over 45 km/h is a difference of 0.4%. Bear with me, we'll get there. So 0.4% difference is because of the handlebar. So let's say you do a time trial over 1 hour. Need to get the calculator back. Over 1 hour, 1 hour, 60 minutes, 60 seconds, 0.4% equals 14.4 seconds. 14.4 seconds. That's not too far off the 16.6 seconds that are claimed that the new bike is faster. So if you would put the new handlebar onto the Venge and you buy a Roval Rapide, suddenly the Venge would jump out of the freaking chart because it is so aerodynamic. That's the simple calculation. The new aero bar compared to the old aero bar, which is on the SL7, which is very similar to the one that I have on the Venge, which is the two-piece system with the Aerofly handlebar, is around 15 seconds slower, according to the claim on the Specialized website, than the new handlebar. So if you put the new handlebar on the old Venge, you will make it quite a bit faster than the new SL8 on a flat or fast route. But then comes the weight, and then people say, "Oh, it's so much lighter because light bikes are faster." Are light bikes really that much faster? Is there such a big difference? Let's have a look. We say that the full bike is half a kilo heavier, the Venge, compared to the old one. So if we look on climbbybike.com, where you can enter all the data, and now I use the Alpe d'Huez climb as a reference because it's a very well-known climb. I climbed it a few times myself. It's awesome. If you haven't been there, go. But if we enter here the bike weight of the new one, we see that to go up Alpe d'Huez in 1 hour, which is possible for a good amateur rider, but it's a tough ride. You need to push around 3.7 watts per kilogram for 1 hour to get up there in 1 hour. So it's 278.3 watts that are required on the bike with 6.8 kilogram. If we consider everything else equal, that means the aerodynamics and the rider and the clothing and everything is equal, and we would change that to 7.3 kilogram, which is the weight of the Venge, the power is 279.95. 278.3, 279.95. So to have a bike that is half a kilo heavier, which is so much according to everybody, you need 1.3 watts more to get up there in the same time. 1.3 watts, that is like less than half of that would be the gain from the aero bar. So 1.3 watts is very little. So a bike that is half a kilo heavier, considering the total system of you and the bike, the rider and the bike, it's only 1.3 watts or 1.5 watts difference when it comes to climbing Alpe d'Huez in 1 hour. So does it really matter? I don't think that much, and that does not even take into account that the new bike or the Venge is maybe a little bit more aero with the new handlebar, so you would actually negate that even a little bit. So let me know what you think about that that idea or that claim that actually the Venge is still the fastest bike that Specialized had ever made. You cannot buy the Venge with that package. So they are right when they say that, okay, the SL8 is the fastest bike they've ever made, because as a full package bike with all components, the new SL8 is faster than the old Venge, because the Venge came with a two-piece handlebar. If you would exchange the handlebar to the new roll rapid cockpit, the old Venge would be faster than the new SL8. So what would I do? If I would find somewhere and I would want a bike and I would find somewhere a Specialized Venge Pro model, that would be the bike I buy. I would put the new handlebar on it. It would maybe cost around 6,000-7,000, almost new, or maybe even cheaper if it's used, and you will get a bloody rocket that is an awesome bike to ride. So of course, if you have the money, go for the SL8, amazing bike. If you want a really good bang for your buck, if you can say that at a bike at this price level, look out for a used Venge if you can find a good one, or maybe even some dealers still have some standing around, but I would highly doubt that. But yeah, the old Venge, it's now 3 years old, still the fastest. Like the video, give some comments if you agree or disagree, or if you have some other input on that one. Subscribe to the channel would really help me to keep it growing. And I wish you a great evening or morning, wherever you are, whenever you watch it. See you around. Bye.